Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Captain James Mitchell. I'll be your Master of Ceremonies for today's presentation. On behalf of Lieutenant Colonel Eakin, I'd like to welcome you to the awards presentation for Corporal Wilmer Holman. It is my honor to introduce Holman. Thank you. It is my honor to introduce the official party from your right to my left, or from your right to left. Lieutenant Colonel Sean Eakin, Commander, 1st Battalion, 151st Infantry, headquartered here in Jasper, Indiana. Corporal Wilmer Holman, Charlie Company, 17th Infantry Regiment. Command Sergeant Major Brian Zirkelbach, Command Sergeant Major for 1st Battalion, 151st Infantry. He's the senior sergeant assigned to this battalion, which is headquartered again here out of Jasper, Indiana. Thank you all for being here today. Ladies and gentlemen, we are here today to honor one of America's finest, Corporal Wilmer Holman. Corporal Holman graduated high school from Kirksville, Missouri in 1949. Following high school, Corporal Holman attended 3 years of college at Northeast Missouri State Teachers College, which is currently known as Truman University. In the fall of 1951, Corporal Holman enlisted in the United States Army and boarded a train in Camp Crowder, Missouri, bound for Fort Ord, California. After completing his basic infantry training in February of '51, Corporal Holman attended and completed advanced individual training and leadership school in April of '52. Following completion of training, Corporal Holman was assigned to Charlie Company, 17th Infantry Regiment, 7th Infantry Division on 5 July 1952. On 9 July, Corporal Holman arrived in the front lines of the 17th Infantry's northeastern sector in the Republic of Korea. The 17th Infantry, assigned under the 7th Division, was located in the midsection of Korea, about 20 miles north of Seoul, near the towns of Chorwon and Kumwa. The regiment distinguished itself throughout the Korean War, serving in the spring, summer, and winter offensives from 1951 to '53. The regiment was finally relieved in the fall of '53. On 16 September 1952, as part of a night patrol, Corporal Holman was wounded from enemy mortar fire and was evacuated to the hospital in Busan. Corporal Holman suffered shrapnel wounds in his upper body and face and remained in the hospital for over 2 months before being released back to Charlie Company, following 6 more months of honorable service under the 17th Infantry Regiment. Corporal Holman returned to the U.S. and was discharged from the United States Army on 8 July 1953. After returning home, Corporal Holman married the beautiful Wanda Carol Lewis in December of '54 and raised 3 amazing children, Wilmer, Denise, and Paul. Corporal Holman worked primarily in tool and die making before purchasing and running his own auto parts store in Tell City, Indiana. In the late 80s and early 90s, Wilmer and Wanda moved to Louisville, where they purchased several rental properties and managed them until late 2016. When they sold all properties and moved back to Tell City to be close to family. Today, Corporal Holman is finally being honored for his dedicated service and duty to his country. Today, he will be presented with the Combat Infantry Badge and the Purple Heart. It is now my privilege to welcome Lieutenant Colonel Sean R. Eakin, Battalion Commander, 1st Battalion, 151st Infantry.
Thanks, Captain Mitchell. So, good morning. As he stated, I'm Colonel Sean Eakin, Battalion Commander, 1st Battalion, 151st Infantry Regiment, which is associated with 2nd Brigade, 25th Infantry Division in Hawaii, but also 38th Infantry Division here in Indiana. First off, I want to thank everyone for taking our time out of the extended weekend this weekend to attend such an important occasion. Recognizing soldiers and their commitment to our nation is one of the most important things that we can do as Americans. It means a lot to us soldiers, and I know many soldiers of years past have not enjoyed the level of recognition that my generation has. I sincerely thank each and every one of you for being here. Our job as soldiers is to train and to fight and win America's wars. That's what it comes down to. As an infantry battalion, of which Corporal Holman was in, and of which I'm the commander of, we do that by closing with through fire and maneuver and destroying the enemies of our nation. That's the job. Now, as National Guardsmen, of course, we do a lot of other stuff, but that's our primary mission. Now, I've been in the Army National Guard for over, I had been in the Army National Guard for over 17 years. I won't tell you how long I've really been in. Before I deployed to my first combat zone as an infantryman. Over that time, I had an opportunity to complete numerous schools, develop my skills as a soldier, prior to actually having to deploy. Corporal Holman, he was placed on an entirely different career track. Between the time that he reported for basic combat training and when he was wounded as an infantryman, that fateful night in September of 1952, he had merely a year in the Army. He was doing exactly what his country asked of him. They asked him to join, train, deploy, and fight the communist aggression in a fierce conflict that in many ways continues to this day. While fighting that aggression, he was wounded in battle. Just as 103,284 other American soldiers were wounded. Over 54,000 soldiers killed in Korea, 33,000 of which were in combat action. 8,000 soldiers still missing or unaccounted for. In total, there were 5.7 million Korean War veterans, of which maybe 2 million are still alive. I'm sure some could double check some of those current facts. The efforts of these veterans created an environment of peace, which has lasted for over 60 years in Korea. I can tell you, I'm very happy that Corporal Holman is one of those veterans that are still with us. Because as great as our Army is, and obviously I'm a fan, from time to time, the Army can be a little slow on paperwork. I've been to countless retirements or farewells where the soldier is recognized, but the service award is not quite ready for presentation. Well, a few months is one thing, but 65 years, that's entirely unacceptable. And I am very happy to be representing the Army while we attempt to make things right again. And so without further ado, Corporal Holman, please step forward and we will make things right.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise. Attention to orders. The Combat Infantry Badge is being presented to Corporal Wilmer E Holman for services in an infantry unit while engaged in active ground combat in Korea, 1952. To all who shall see these presents, greeting. This is to certify that the President of the United States of America has awarded the Purple Heart, established by General George Washington in Newburgh, New York, August 7, 1782, to Corporal Wilmer E Holman for wounds received in action in the Republic of Korea in September 1952. Please join me in congratulating him. Ladies and gentlemen, you may be seated. Corporal Holman, thank you again for your service. Our battalion chaplain is not available today to provide a benediction, so if you would join me as you feel called as I recite a verse from the Bible. Please rise. From Philippians 4, 8 and 9. Finally, brothers and sisters, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, Whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about such things. Whatever you have learned or received or heard from me or seen in me, put it into practice, and the God of peace will be with you. Amen. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes today's ceremony. On behalf of Lieutenant Colonel Eakin, we appreciate your attendance today. Please be safe and enjoy the rest of your day.
A Korean War veteran from Tell City receives a Purple Heart more than 60 years after serving. Wilmer E Holman was honored outside the DuBois County Courthouse for his service and duty to his country. Members of Jasper's 1st Battalion 151st Infantry presented Holman with the Combat Infantryman Badge and the Purple Heart. Holman's family helped with the application process to ensure their loved one was honored.
We had the honor of being able to present these awards to Mr. Holman. Like I said earlier, 65 years late, but better late than never. So we're very humbled to be able to be a part of this, and very proud of Corporal Holman's service.
Better late than never indeed. The Purple Heart is awarded to any member of the United States Armed Forces who is wounded or killed while serving.